Hey y'all, welcome back to Our Road Less Traveled, the Boondocking edition. What you got today?
Episode 2?
Deuce.
Dose?
That's about what it came out to. Just think of turd, number 2. That's what this was, a turd.
So we just got through boondocking near 2 national parks, Arches and Canyonlands, and we're going to tell you the ups and the downs of that situation, whether it was a success or a failure, and what we liked about it, what we didn't, I guess.
Now, we loved the place that we stayed. So where we stayed, if you take I-70 west, get off on exit 187, make a left. It's a big old section of BLM land that runs from I-70 to Highway 191 that goes all the way down to Moab. Now, the northern part of that is where the normal people stay. That's where people that don't shoot dirt 900 miles in the air. As you go, if you go up one exit to 191 and you take that down to Moab, the closer you get to Moab, that's where the side-by-side people are. I loved the northern side where we stayed. There wasn't anybody around. There was pretty good AT&T service, no Verizon, no T-Mobile.
Right.
Starlink was pulling down 350 megs. Nice breeze the whole time, incredible view. Nobody throwing dust all over us.
We were there. There was probably room for 3 or 4 rigs in that spot, but we were there for the most part by ourselves.
So we're going to give you the GPS coordinates of where we stayed, but you can follow that road all the way down, and then it branches off into other areas, goes around a mountain. There's probably 100 or so sites that you could stay at along there. I just wouldn't go down towards the Moab area unless you've got a side-by-side and want to eat dirt all day. So along with right there at Thompson Springs, exit 187 off of I-70, the road is called BLM 146 or Salt Valley Gorge Road. Salt Valley Gorge Road, and it's literally 5 miles down on the right, very smooth road, no ruts. You could probably get to it in a Volkswagen Bug.
Yeah, it was a great road.
The Salt Valley
Gorge
Road, also when it comes off of 187 from I-70, it wraps all the way back around to 191 that goes down to Arches and Canyonland and Moab. So there's plenty of places to turn around in there, but even if you didn't feel like you could, the road is smooth all the way through and it leads you out to 191. The other areas that we found were on the right-hand side of 191.
That's right.
There's a road down there. I forget the name of it. I've got the GPS coordinates for it again. I'll put it in the description. That to me, I don't know that I would take our fifth wheel down there unless we had no other options. It wasn't that the road was that bad. It was just there were a couple places that were bad enough that I'd pay $49 to stay somewhere instead of doing that to the rig.
Was that the one that was on the road to Canyonlands?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and again, the first few miles of going into Canyonland, they have campgrounds set up, but it's I guess it's maintained by the Forest Service and not BLM, so the roads aren't near as nice and they're kind of rutted up.
And they're not free.
You have to pay. And they're not necessarily cheap either. Some of them were $15 a night.
$20 a night, I think.
Anyway, for me, if you're going to boondock and you want to see Arches and Canyonland, get off at exit 187, make a left, go down that dirt road. There's plenty of places to find. I would stay there.
Yeah, I would stay there again.
But there is no grocery store near you. So
Moab is one exit up.
Just know.
But Moab is, again, from the interstate, 20 to 30 miles.
Just know you need to take everything that you need so that you don't have to go anywhere other than the national parks.
I did go into Moab and do laundry one day. It was a 45-minute drive from where we were. And, you know, we had groceries before we went, so it wasn't a big deal.
All right. So entrance into Arches and Canyonland, both easy peasy, had no problems.
Yep. So next we're going to do some pluses and minuses of this boondocking spot. So I guess you go first for a plus.
The plus, we could see 100 to 200 miles, I swear, in 360 degrees. Well, absolutely stunning. We could watch it rain in Colorado.
Yeah. It was an absolutely breathtaking view in every direction, except that dirt pile behind us.
I thought the dirt pile was a pro.
It did block some of the wind.
That's exactly why.
So a minus. I'll say a minus. The dirt road got everywhere. Inside the rig, inside the truck, in the bed of the truck, in every crevice that it could possibly get
ears, butt cracks.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about inside the camper.
It's just inside the camper.
Okay. Anyway, so you do a plus.
I like the fact that the site we were in, they're not all like this, had a big dirt berm to kind of like the northwest corner, so it kind of blocks some of the wind and stuff coming that way.
Yeah.
And it was very isolated. There wasn't anybody near us.
The only negative thing that really happened to us while we were boondocking is we ran out of water on the night before we were leaving at 10 p.m. And it wasn't like I was being bougie and had to have a shower. It wasn't only that, at least. We had dishes in the sink. We both needed a shower. It was like we had to have water, but we didn't have the
option of not refilling the tank.
The good thing about that was we did have the water bladder, but the bad thing was it was 10 p.m. We didn't realize how long it was going to take to fill the tank from the water bladder.
Now, let me go ahead and tell you this. We did not do a dry run of how to transfer water from the bladder into the fifth wheel.
Yeah.
I just assumed it would be like hooking up to city water. It absolutely was not.
Or like it was filling it,
Right.
Emptying it would have been the same, but no, it
took a hot minute. And
I put my timer on about 30 minutes in, and my timer went for 2.5 hours. So it took a hot minute or two.
So we carry an extra hose. It's a 1/2-inch hose, and I keep quick disconnects on the end of those hoses, so it just pops in and out, and I can swap hoses. I can use them for different things. Our pump, when you connect it up to the small openings of the quick disconnect and use a 1/2-inch hose that's 25 feet long connected to a water bladder that's already at a slightly level, it wasn't elevated, it just couldn't suck the water through. Luckily, we had a 5/8. I call it the crap hose because I always fight with it if I ever uncoil it and trying to get it back because it's so stiff. Luckily, we had that. I took the quick disconnect off the rig, put that on. It was 10 feet, and it had no problem siphoning from that. What it did have a problem with was it was slow as molasses running uphill in summer. I mean,
in the winter?
In the winter. It was slow as molasses running uphill in the winter. So that took forever. What we should have done was I should have tested this out and then gone to Harbor Freight and bought an external pump and hooked it up to the inverter in the bed of the truck and powered it from there and not relied on the pump of the fifth wheel. So we'll be adding that to our arsenal.
Live and learn. I mean, it was just a minor thing. It was just time, that was all. And I don't think we emptied the entire thing out, but we got enough in there to get the dishes done and the showers.
I pulled 25 gallons out of it. And while the stability of it being in front of the hitch felt a lot better, from a logistics standpoint, it needs to be on the bed of the truck because at night with no light, trying to find the hose and trying to get the thing on it, it was a pain in the butt. So the bladder will be moving back to the back of the truck again.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
Well, another positive about that you just reminded me of was there was no light anywhere.
Zero light pollution.
So we could see a million stars.
And another positive, the Champion 4500 dual fuel generator. I feel like I'm on a NASCAR team. Because we weren't having to run the air conditioner, we put 2.2 gallons of gasoline in the tank, and that would run for like 18 hours.
Yeah. We didn't have to run it as much as we thought we would because of the weather, and the battery lasted longer than we thought it was going to.
That was the other thing. So we put in a smart shunt from Victron. And of course, I can't pull it up now, but
because we don't have service. Right.
So I didn't have that thing set up right. I didn't have the floor threshold set right. I didn't have some other settings done right. So I called Victron. They basically walked me through setting it up. And what we found out was our 100 amp hour battery running the refrigerator, which is a residential 120 volt plug-in type refrigerator, we can get almost 24 hours out of that 100 amp hour battery. But because I had the settings set wrong, we were thinking we were getting 4 to 8 hours out of it.
Yeah.
So that was a good find.
Yeah. So one more thing that was a very big plus for me, I don't know about you,
I loved it,
was that we could let Stella off her leash all by herself, and she could run around and not have to worry about her chasing some other dog off or any people. Or
I was just happy she could poop by herself.
Yeah, it was nice to have a little off-leash time.
Yeah. Hi, Stella. You're 5. Good job.
The other plus was the proximity to the national parks. We were very close to Arches and Canyonlands, and so it was like a 40-minute drive to each one.
I'm not even sure it was that long.
Anyway,
but the
very
other
easy
thing
to
is,
get to 'em.
It doesn't get dark till like 9:30, 10 o'clock here. So
Okay, maybe 9, maybe 8:39.
Maybe I'm on Eastern time.
Okay.
But we're not going to do video of the national parks, and Maria's making me stay clean because it really pisses me off. But we're going to have to use stock footage. We may sneak some new footage in, I don't know, but this is basically just how to boondock the national parks because we can't film in them.
This is not our footage.
Yeah.
Right here.
And we are not in a national park right now. We're actually we're at some state park in
Quail Creek State Park in Hurricane, Utah.
We're getting ready to do Bryce and
Zion. Not Zion. Zion. And this place that we're in right now is not Hurricane, it's Hurricane. So we've done 3 of the Mighty 5, and
next week we're off to the other 2. I'll go ahead and give you a spoiler alert. It's kind of hard to find a boondocking spot for these 2.
Yeah, but we did.
But it's kind of tough.
Yet to be determined if we're going to stay there or not.
We found it. We know where it's at. We can get to it.
We're going to share it with you.
We're going to share it.
But we have a pretty sweet campground right now. So after boondocking for a week, we needed a week of a campground.
Y'all, and if
I'm telling you, the dirt, next level. It was everywhere.
One of my favorite channels is the Border Hookups. How in the Sam Hill they constantly boondock in New Mexico or wherever they're at, if they're in this kind of dirt and sand, oh my God, kudos to you. It just,
we want to be boondocker people.
we do.
We
But I like to be clean too.
We get a lot of grief for staying at bougie campgrounds all the time and parking lots and whatever. But you know what? It's nice sometimes.
It is.
to have concrete under your feet instead of dirt. But I mean, we enjoy this too, just not all the time.
Yeah, we can handle it in, I would say, 1 week stretches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here a week skip, then another week.
Right.
But basically, boondocking this whole time with only staying in campgrounds long enough to flush, do video stuff, and then hit another boondock.
We thought we were going to be able to do that. And
Clay's tapping out.
we both are. So this is going to be, there'll be one more of the boondocking series, but we're going to be transparent with you. We may or may not actually stay at that one.
Yeah.
So that wraps up part 2 of our boondocking series, and we'll catch you next week on our road less travel. So, okay, ready? Are you ready?
Yep. All right, so now let's
say
go
that again.
look.
Just say it again. Hold on.
All right, so now let's look
Other
up
than being a little dusty.
campgrounds. We're going to use stock footage as
National
much
parks.
as of the. Damn it. What else?
Can you not?
Up for.
Can you not say that every time? You gotta ruin it.
So that's all for this week. We'll see you next time on our road less traveled. Stayed, even though it was at mile marker 187, which technically is a call code for murder, but
I don't think a lot of people know that. So that wraps up. What?
you ready to go?